This one. Scott Panchik on the top, lane 1. Alex Smith on the bottom in lane number 5. As we move through the first bar very, very quickly. That time of 31:88 may be in jeopardy for the top time. Advancing into the second round. On to bar number 3 for all 5 athletes within a second of each other. It's going to be Panchik and Urankar just in line with each other, barely ahead of Smith and Linder Layton. Panchik continuing to hold off Urankar as Ben Smith is closing in. Panchik on the very top lane, gets the lockout, comes up onto the platform. That's going to be close for maybe the top time. Ben Smith in less than a second behind. Urankar and Alex Smith right there as well. Linder Layton will come across to the 42nd
from the start. Scott Panchik, if we're looking at the box bottom left screen, every single lift was exactly the same. And he's not a super tall athlete, so the barbell doesn't have to go all that far. At 5'8", he's quick to throw the bar onto the shoulders and rip it off the ground up over his head. His pacing was just a fraction of a second quicker than Urankar if you're looking at the middle screen on the bottom. And that gives him the heat win at 32 seconds.
Less than a half second behind the top time. In the first 4 heats was Panchik, so 31:88 continues to be the leading time. And this continuing his charge up the leaderboard in lane 4. These 5 might need to be perfect if they want to find themselves into the top 20. It's Noah Olsen breaking from the first bar just ahead of Rasmus Anderson. Olsen in lane number 4 going left to right. There he is in the dark tank top, still leading just barely ahead of Anderson and Gamboa. It continues to be Olsen as they advance to the final 2 bars. This one 270 pounds. Olsen opting to go for a split jerk, and that's a little bit slower. It gives the edge to Gamboa in the green tank top in lane number 2. And it'll be Gamboa that'll hop up onto the platform about 34 seconds. Olsen less than a second behind. Rasmus Anderson in 3rd. Logan Collins unable to get the lockout at 275. Frederick Agidius has made his way to the final bar with 12 seconds remaining until the time cap. Collins underneath it. And the 170-pounder Logan Collins will get up onto the platform just under the time cap. But Agidius got the rep, but he won't get onto the platform, so he'll technically be time capped.
Brandon, what a great race. If you're looking at the bottom of the screen, the 4 boxes, the 4th box from the left, Noah Olsen made quick work for the first couple bars. Really efficient, but he slowed down when he got to the 3rd bar. I believe it was right here. He opts for, now that's a push jerk on his 4th clean jerk. He opts for a split jerk. You'll see it here in that 4th box from the left. He takes a second to pause. That's what gives Roy Gamboa just a couple second lead to put him in at 34 seconds.
Making his way just heats remaining, and it's the top 10 in the point standings that are left to take on round number 1. This will be, and away we go. It's Newberry in the pink tank top in lane 1. On the bottom side of the screen in lane 5, Willie George in the blue shirt. Pikowski leading the way step for step with Willie George. So Pikowski in the center lane, number 3, will continue to lead the way. Willie George still in line with them, actually. As they get to the 270-pound bar, Willie George will take the lead. The first Frenchman to qualify for the games, maybe taking the heat. And he will as he gets onto the platform at 32 seconds. 32.86 for George, 34.04 for Pikowski. Goodmanson in at 38.23. Here's James Newberry getting the lockout, and he brings the feet together. He'll get the okay, and he'll come up onto the platform in the 5th position as Boone Miller was in at 42.70 on his way to the semifinals. So it's still 1 heat left in the quarters, and it's the top 5 in the point standings. 31.88 continues to be the top time, but all that matters is get into the top 20. It's Matt Fraser in the white leader's jersey out in front, just ahead of Lucas Hogberg in 2nd. He's in lane number 4. Fraser, no surprise here. Already through bar number 3, out in front by about a half second over Hogberg. It's Vellner in 3rd, Esslinger in 4th. But Matt Fraser might be taking the top time here in the quarterfinal round. Why not? Matt Fraser, fastest time in round 1. 30.03 for Fraser. Hogberg also in under the prior fastest time at 31.02. Vellner, 35.37.
That's so fast. not a mistake, not a single movement out of order. It was just perfect. The race between him and Hochberg, they were rep for rep. Matt had a little bit of a lead going from second to third barbell and kept that lead all the way through the finish here. You can see them in the middle box and the fourth box from the left. Fraser and Hochberg going back and forth, but Fraser was able to keep that tempo and that momentum all the way, all through 5 barbells. You can see his 5th lift right there, and he finishes in a time just over 30 seconds.
And the big thing here, fastest time will go last in the semifinals, so it'll be some added.
That performance in this 4th and final heat.
You know, there's been a lot of talk with Matt about he's finally being put.
Final semi-final heat. We start with a 280-pound barbell. Matt Fraser in the middle of your screen is through that with no problem. Fraser's in the lead. Next to him is Tim Paulson at the top of your screen. And on the other side is Lucas Hochberg. Fraser and Paulson now separate themselves. They are the first of the 300-pound barbell. And Scott Panchik is right behind them. Fraser hits that lift, and he continues to lead by about a half second over Tim Paulson. Scott Panchik at the bottom of your screen, moving into third, past Lucas Hochberg. Fraser is through, and he will get to the 310-pound barbell. Paulson behind him. Fraser drops the ball, but he'll get right back on it. Fraser has it stood up, as does Tim Paulson. Fraser will miss the jerk. Paulson is through. This could be huge for Lucas Hochberg. Fraser has it stood up. He will hit that. Hochberg hits his lift. Now Fraser is in, but he may not be advancing. Hochberg is in as well. The top 5 times advanced. Matt Fraser may not be one of them.
So we saw that face, we saw him attack, and on those first couple of barbells, he did just that. Looked very strong, grip and rip right off the ground. All these guys went into that split position, or into the squat position. Tim Paulson in the black tank top on the left side of Matt there. Very strong on his clean into the jerk, not a problem. Matt just marching his way down. Really, between Matt and Tim, they were pretty much dusting the field. Now, we have Scott Panchik all the way to the right-hand side of your screen, who's hanging in there, so you really didn't see him, but then Matt, just not able to get that bar in the good position, which allowed Tim and Scott to get in there. Tim Paulson, beautiful jerk. Matt misses it, and then we have that sprint between Tim and Scott. Unbelievable. 2 fails from Matt Fraser. We don't see things like that.
Matt Fraser does pick the right time to make a mistake, though. It's looking like, and this is unofficial, the good news for Matt Fraser is the 4 or 5 men immediately behind him in the overall standings will not be in the final heat, so they will not be picking up points on him. At least a lot of points.
And Matt did try to get right back on that bar, which is very commendable, but even on that, you see his feet, he didn't do a full split, and he didn't do a regular push press.
Nick Urankar next to him. Tim Paulson, who had the fastest time in the semifinals, will be in lane 3. Scott Panchik and Jared. Winner, take all, final heat of the speed, clean, and jerk ladder starts with 315 pounds, and Tim Paulson in the middle of the floor has completed his jerk, as has Nick Urankar in the pink shirt, and Ben Smith, and Urankar will be the first man to the 325-pound barbell, followed by Paulson and Smith. Urankar, no problem on the clean. Sticks the jerk, and he remains in the lead. 3 barbells to go, now 335 pounds. For Nick Urankar. Here comes Tim Paulson. Ben Smith, top of your screen, is in third. As he makes his way to the 335-pound barbell, Nick Urankar on his clean. He's the only man lifting right now. Urankar sticks the jerk, and he is way out in front as he moves to the 340-pound barbell. This is Tim Paulson at 335.
Beautiful split jerk by Tim Paulson. If you see, he also changed his grip from his pull to his jerk position. Went a little bit wider, which he's got those long arms, so he shortens that up a little bit.
Ben Smith got no rep, so he's stuck at 335. Urankar about to clear 340. Urankar 345 pounds between him and an event win, and he's calling on the crowd to get him through this lift. Scott Panchik has just hit 340, as has Tim Paulson. Your anchor on the final barbell.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Urankar wins the speed clean and jerk ladder. Second place at 94 points is still up for grabs, and Tim Paulson right now is the only man on 345 as Jared Enderton gets to the barbell as well. Enderton will beat him to the jerk, and Enderton is across the finish line. Second place for Enderton and a third for Tim Paulson. Scott Panchik fails the clean as we have about 40 seconds to go before we hit the 3-minute time cap. So it's Panchik and Ben Smith, two CrossFit Games veterans, still on the floor. Smith at 340. The worst he can do is 5th place in this event. Panchik will hit 345. If Panchik is in, and that means Ben Smith will lock up 5th place. And Ben Smith doesn't...
When this event came up and Nick was around, that this was going to be a Nick Urankar show, and it definitely was. You can see right there in the blazing pink shirt, every single lift, he stood that thing up, no problem. Getting that up overhead, no problem. And the confidence between these guys, between these lifts was unreal. Now you saw how much preparation all these guys had as they marched their way down. And one thing you have to say is for Jared Enderton, all the way on the right-hand side of your screen, he was basically sitting at the back of the pack all the way through, taking plenty of rest as he marched his way up through those bars. But Nick Urankar putting on a show. Watch him pump the crowd. Look at me. I'm going to lift some big weights for you. Fired up. And again, he had plenty of time. He knew where the other competitors were. Didn't have to get to that bar right away. Plenty of time to rest. And man, he made this look good.
And with that jerk, Nick Urankar locks up his first career